All right. So I'm flying solo. No, I'm not flying solo tonight. All right. So I hope everybody's been safe. I hope everybody the weather's broken for you. I hope you guys got out and did a little digging. Um, if not, it's coming soon. So let's get this stuff going here. And first, we'll bring up Mister
Boom.
Mister Co-host, the Madman
Hey,
himself.
what's up?
What's going on, Rich? Everything good?
Everything's good up here. It's
Weather's
cold
up.
and snowy.
Yeah, I hear you. Well, you
It's
chose
Maine weather.
Maine. Yeah. So before we get started tonight, I just wanted to give a shout out to Mr. Phil Bortner, who's under the weather. Messaged me a little while ago, so feel better, Phil.
You better, Phil.
And also, we have a birthday boy tonight. Mr. Jeff Hedricks. 'Tis his birthday. So he does not
Oh, here we go.
he doesn't get to his birthday music.
Uh,
Okay, no more cheesy birthday music. But big happy birthday to Pops out there, Mr. Jeff
yeah,
Hendricks.
I'm sure it'll be somebody else's birthday next week.
I'm sure it
We'll
will
get to
be.
play it again.
Yeah, absolutely. So here we go. So we got a special guest tonight, as you all know. In a few short months, we have one of our favorite events is Come Out Swinging. Um, every April, first weekend in April, and it's a great event. Um, not a ton of people, about 100, 110 people ish. Um, very intimate, very well put together, um, and pretty good locations. Some pretty good past locations. Some pretty cool stuff has been found. Just ask Mr. Alan Hedricks. But
Yeah.
you all know him. He's the Sultan of Swing. He was voted most likely to put on a metal detecting event in high school. And he's just a class guy. And we actually learned a ton from him putting on our event, which we couldn't have done without, us kind of picking his brain a little bit. The one, the only, the Sultan.
Hello, everybody.
Jason is here. So you pulling your hair out yet?
It's begun, right? So I got it cut short, right? Everybody can see I got my high and tight. But that was just so you don't see the gray as we get closer.
But you don't wash that gray right out of your hair?
I have not washed that gray right now.
Neither have I. So neither have I. So tickets are now available. I saw the QR code.
QR code, the link, it's all up.
Yep. But please tell us more.
Yeah. So I will tell you, like, I feel like I say this every year, and it's because it is such a tight community, and
Yes.
Thanks for the kind words about the event. But tickets went on sale Monday. It's Wednesday, and we're already half gone.
Jeez, it's growing, man.
It is. And what's really nice, obviously we love seeing all of our old friends come back, and we know that everybody can't come back every year. But what's really nice is I see these new people already signed up.
Yep.
There's a lot of energy around it, and they go back. I've got a message from somebody that's like, I went back through, all the threads, and I saw all the stuff that was found, and I got to be at this event. And of course, I got to remind people, like, I can't guarantee, that you're going to find all that great stuff that we found before, but
You can't.
that's kind of the game, right?
Yep.
That's metal detecting.
That's metal detect. That's
It
what we
is.
call dirt fishing, right? We don't catch
That's
them
it.
every time. But yeah,
Yes.
seeing all these new people, their excitement about coming to the event for the first time.
Mhm.
You know, I see, you know, our good friend Teresa, you know, she's out there in Texas and she's like, you know, inviting people to join the group, and they're joining the group. And,
Yep.
you know, if you do come to the group, please answer the questions, right? There's a lot of funky little bots out there that want to be in our group. So, you know, it's two simple questions. Where do you live and what type of machine do you use? If you don't answer those, I'm not going to let you in, but I will message you and ask you to answer the questions.
Well, that's just common with any group. I mean,
It is.
even my Facebook group, same thing. Two questions. How many years you been detecting? What machine do you use? If you don't answer the questions, you're not
Yeah.
getting in.
And look, we know it's just to kind of, you know, we've got a great group of people, whether
Yep.
it's the Boyertown Relic Recovery Club or the Come Out Swinging group. Like, everybody's very friendly. Everybody plays nice in the sandbox.
Yep.
And we just don't want that opportunity for somebody to come in from the outside who doesn't know what we're all about and
That's
spoil
true.
everything.
And you know how it is with any kind of event. You know, I mean, um, unfortunately, when you have 100+ people in one place, there's always going to be a knucklehead or two. You know, I don't think you've had this problem, but I mean, you know of it. I mean, so many events, you know, uh, have people that come and wind up like night hawking the site the night before the event, and um, you know, who really miss out on what these events are really for. You know, I mean, if if you're coming to an event thinking that you're going to, you know, you're going to find the find of a lifetime, you very well may. But if that's the one reason you're going, then you're just doing this for the wrong reasons.
Yeah, yeah. I look at the night hawking thing and I'm like, you know, we just asked the owner,
Yep.
right? Like, if you really wanted the detector, you could have knocked on the door the same way we did,
Mhm.
right? You know, and if they wanted you here, they would give you permission. Like, we're not putting anything in the ground for you to find. Like, it's a natural hunt.
Right.
So Saturday and Sunday, natural hunt. Now Sunday morning we have a seeded hunt, but you know, I'm out there in the field at 6 a.m., you know, seeding the field. I'm not doing that on Saturday night. You know, all the people with, you know, putting on these events and all the experience and all those people I talked to were like, don't ever do that. Like, that's a good way to lose a lot of lose a lot of targets, right? You know?
Well, that's why we switched it up this year, and we did put targets in the ground for the seeded hunt, but no silver,
Okay.
because too many times, you know, we put out X amount of silver. I mean, you were at the first Dig Do. We had 1,500 targets. There wasn't that many found, and you know what? It's a shame because especially now, especially during like when we did the event, price of silver went up to like $35 an ounce.
Yeah, it's crazy, right? And
You
that's
know?
the whole thing. Like, you know, try to lock down that good price on silver, and
Yeah.
who's got it? Like, that's the other thing. It's like, I find, you know, we work very closely with Drew, and he really, you know, when he gets his hand on silver, he kind of holds it for us. But that market is really competitive right now with a
Yep.
lot of these types of events going on and people buying silver in bulk. So
Yep.
it's definitely making it more difficult.
Yeah. I mean, I went to go and get silver for Dig Dude, and you know, I went in with an idea in my head what I wanted to get, and by the time I left, I'm like, wow, I never have a problem getting this. I never usually have a problem getting that. And then the stuff I did get, I'm like, why is it more money than like 2 months ago?
Before.
And
Big.
they're like, yeah, silver went up to the 35. It went from like what, 21, 22 to 35 an ounce. And they're saying that by the end of 2026, it could get up close to $100 an ounce.
It's crazy, right? Like, I think the last I talked, I may be wrong about this, but I think Drew told me it's either 22 or 25 times face value right now.
Mm-hmm.
Right. You know, and there was a point when we first started, I think we were 18 times face value.
Yep.
Now we weren't doing seeded hunts back then. We were just buying silver for prizes.
Right.
You know, our first event didn't have a seeded hunt, but you know, now we do. And every year our goal is to kind of put more silver in the ground, put more prize tokens in the ground, you know, and make that seated component. You know, it's an add-on. Like not everybody likes a seated hunt, but we like to, you know, offer it as an option. We know Sunday morning sometimes people don't do the seated hunt; they just go back out in the fields and they detect. That's okay too, right? You know, we're not saying you can't. We just say like.
But you know what though? If you do this seated hunt and you get a few silver coins, maybe a couple tokens, get a couple prizes, you know, even if you don't find anything in the natural hunt, you're still coming out with something. And then the kids love
The kids love it. Yeah.
They love it.
Yeah.
And I would too if I was a kid, you know.
Well, you'll know anybody who's never come to a come out swinging or has come to more recent come out swinging. The history was when we put our first come out swinging on, we had a kind of like a test garden.
Yep.
And we just invited the general community, and people from the community came. They met with our vendors, and they went through the test garden, and a couple of them purchased machines. So we're like, oh, there's something here. And it was primarily adults bringing kids to buy machines for kids.
Yep.
So at the second event, we put a community garden out, we called it, and we just put like 50 targets in the community garden. And we told the community, hey, show up with your kids, you dig a prize, you dig a target, you can keep it, you know, and a couple people showed up for that.
Yep.
And then it blew up, right? So we had the kids point hunt, and it was over 150 kids or something crazy.
I remember.
Oh, wow.
I remember the first year. I remember the first year that I did the kids event. We had about 70 kids that weekend.
Yeah.
The next year, well, actually, you were doing it twice a year, so it was 6 months later. Then 6 months later, we did the kids event, and I think you had what? 90,
it like doubled. It doubled.
Yeah, it was
over. I think it was over 100 kids. Yeah.
Was it? Wow.
And it became its own thing,
It
right?
did. Yeah.
And you know, the logistics of it became such that it was, hey, we got to find parking for 100 detectorists.
I know.
And now we've got a community coming and going all day long, bringing these kids in. So eventually, we just said, hey, this is just going to be its own event. And you know, we really, when we made it its own event, again, shame on us, we kind of underestimated it. We said like, well, we'll do it in conjunction with Earth Day. We set up in the park, and we figured like we'll be here from I think it's 11 to 3, so it's 4 hours.
Right.
Last year in 4 hours, we did. It's funny. Both years the lady came and she's like, "You're the winner again." She's like, "Usually it's the pony rides have always been like what all the kids want to do."
Right.
Like you did twice as many people as the pony rides.
Wow.
Like, you know, and it's everything from 2 years old to 16-year-olds that come through. And, you know, we give them the detectors and we bury like, I don't know, maybe 20 pounds of coins in the ground. So if you ever see
that was one of my favorite parts of the event was sponsoring the kids hunt and then doing the kids hunt and just watching them, you know, you help them pick it up and they grab it and they go running over to the side where their parents are.
Yeah.
Like they were holding an egg. My God, look what I got. They don't even know what it is.
They don't even know what it is.
No idea.
You know, it doesn't make a difference to them. It's just something, you know?
No idea.
Yeah.
That was incredible. So
yeah.
I'm glad
we love that. We're glad to continue to do that. You know, that was just one of the things that we discovered through Come Out Swing. And so, you know, if you say like, you know, what's something good that's come from that? Like,
I have a question for you. So for the one game, what was the name of it?
Relic Relay?
That one. No, yes. No, not Relic Relay.
Joker Poker?
No, the other one where you plant and then you got to swing over it and guess what it is.
Oh, that's a Game of Tones.
Yes. I see Sean in the chat here. Is Sean going to be doing? He's been slacking the last couple.
Sean has sponsored Game of Tones in the past, and we definitely appreciate it. You know, I always give Sean, you know, kind of credit for the name of the game, because at one point Sean had approached me and he says, "Hey, I want to, you know, start my own channel, and here's what I'm thinking of naming it." And I said, "Listen, if you don't use Game of Tones, I'm stealing that." And he went a different direction. So I told him, I said, "I'll always give you credit, Sean, but I'm stealing Tones."
Is that when he went over to what, Berks County or whatever it is?
No, he had Berks County metal detecting was the thing, but then he was looking at, I forget what it was. it was almost like the name of a rapper, and it was Sean's very creative in that sense, and he had these two options, and he was really, it was like weighing heavy on his mind. I said, both of them are great, Sean. Whichever one you want to use, but if you don't use that Game of Tones, I'm stealing it. And
There you go.
there we go. But that's that's fun. So as part of the event, right, we have the natural hunt. That's all day Saturday, and what we call like a 3/4 day on Sunday, right? So Saturday's 9 to 4, Sunday's 9 to 2. Sunday morning, you got the seated hunt. It starts at 9 o'clock. And then all throughout the weekend, you have things like Game of Tones, right? It's free. It's included in the price. There's 10 targets in the ground. We give you a sheet of paper, and you write down what you think your machine is telling you is in the ground. And whoever gets the most right or closest to the most right, wins a prize, right? So that all stemmed from watching people on YouTube. Like my idea was there for the game. I didn't have a name for it. I stole the name from Sean, but my idea was I watch these guys on YouTube and they're like, oh yeah, that's whatever machine they got. That's a 56. That's going to be an Indian head fatty. And I'm just like I know my machine pretty good, but I don't know that I could call what I'm digging. Like that's a special talent.
It's a 72 on an AT Pro.
That's a 1920 Knox.
Yeah, I mean, I've dug Indian heads at 18, and I've dug Indian heads at 21 on my Knox,
and I've dug them at 16. I've
dug them at 16. So I'm never, not that I don't have a YouTube channel, but I don't know that I would ever have the confidence to live dig something and be like, that's an Indian head, Penny. Like,
my favorite one is
target, but
my favorite one, because it's the easiest one, is Brass in the Grass.
Oh, you like Brass in the Grasses? Yeah.
Oh yeah, you can't miss that thing, dude.
Can't miss, right? Yeah, so we use big brass like room tags from old hotel keys.
Oh.
They're numbered.
You can't miss them. They ring up like $50, man.
Yeah, it's like digging up a $50.
Yeah.
But what's crazy is we've had instances, right? We started off with 50 tags. I think I'm down to 44 tags now. I think somebody took the 007 one.
Oh, probably.
Oh, yeah.
Which,
Sean says that channel was going to be.
Yeah, I think somebody might have taken like one that was maybe like their birth year or some special number.
Maybe.
We've legitimately had 4 people at the end of the event going back over the Brass in the Grass and being like, we just can't find it.
Sean says that channel was going to be named Notorious DIG. That's
what it was, Notorious DIG. Like I said, like a rapper. But yeah, Brass in the Grass is great. We put prizes in the ground. We ask for a donation. The majority of the prizes are worth more than what you're donating. Some of them are worth significantly more. Like we're saying, hey, give us a $5 donation. You go in for every brass piece you dig, you get $5 donation. But
it's worth it because you know what? I mean, the prizes are worth more than $5.
We've given away prizes in there that were worth upwards of $100.
Yeah.
Right. We put Morgans in there, we put Liberty dollars.
Brian said that if you had a tag that had 139 on it, he'd have kept it. He'd have kept it.
We'll counter stamp it with was it 139.97 or something?
139.95.
139.95 with the counter stamp. So yeah, Brass in the Grass, the Game of Tones. I'm contemplating. In the past, we've done Joker Poker, which was a special variation of the poker game that I kind of modified to make it a little more interesting, including jokers in the deck.
Right.
And then, but we really have been having a lot of fun. We started 3 events ago doing Relic Relay. And I know now that kind of concept of Relic Relay is at all these big national events that these manufacturers are hosting. But ours is like a 5-man team. There's 5 targets in the ground. Everybody's got to dig a target. It's a timed event. There's penalties for digging the wrong targets. You got to kind of call what you're going to dig. And that's where our test garden comes into play, right? So we always have a test garden out to help get your machine balanced to the soil conditions, just kind of get everything fine-tuned. But like I tell everybody, know the targets that are in the test garden because there's a good chance that they're going to turn up in the Relic Relay.
So can we, it seems like a pattern now. Can we not have rain on Saturday? every dig a dude.
How
I mean,
about snow?
every
How about we
come out
have some snow on Saturday?
It seems like,
Well,
it seems like now on Saturdays we come out swinging. We get the rain on Saturday, and then it's beautiful on Sunday.
We've had some crazy weather. Like our first event, if you you were at the first one, right?
No, I missed the first one, and I've made it. What are we up to now?
This is our 8th.
Yes, I made all the rest of them.
All the rest of them. Yeah. So the first one, Saturday was bitter cold. I actually bought propane blower heaters for the volunteers to kind of keep them warm in the tent.
Yep.
And then the next day it was 70 degrees.
Yeah, that's
People
it.
were legitimately the day before in gloves and hats and coats and with hand warmers and everything else, detecting in a violent snowstorm. And then the next day it was 70 and people were in shorts. It was nuts.
Speaking of come out swinging, a staple. He's a staple. Welcome to the chat, Mr. Charlie Harley.
Oh, Charlie's in the chat.
Charlie's in the chat.
I was just talking to Charlie the other day. Charlie's, he's the mayor of everywhere.
He is.
And
He's the mayor, but Judy's the queen.
yes, that is true. That is true.
Fact. That's fact.
Yeah, Charlie and I had a nice conversation the other day, about the upcoming event. He's been a huge, huge help to me in the past when we had that. We were talking, pre going live here, about having had a location, and people are asking online like, "Hey, can I get some location details?"
Yep.
In the beginning, we didn't release location details because we were worried about people going to the site and bothering the owners.
You have to. You have to.
But now it's really more about, it takes me a good 3-4 months, working with these farmers.
Yep.
In the winter, they have no idea what their planting or their crop cycle is going to look like coming into the spring.
Yep.
They're reluctant to commit to anything.
If you have a summer with a drought, that puts.
Then you have a summer with a drought, right? Or like we had in 2023, we had a farmer commit, and then we had a summer going into fall with a lot of rain, and because of it, he runs like a pumpkin patch, hay ride, corn maze thing. They didn't get the people in September and October that they normally get. They usually close the farm end of October. They kept the farm open.
Last year, you guys had a ton of rain because we went up. We go up. Myself, John Donaldson, Brian, you're digging it. Royal, we go up early. We go Friday morning because we have a permission not too far from
right
where you are.
Yeah, it's nice. These guys, what they do is they go metal detect, and then they come by the field where I'm busting my butt.
I do.
And we just show me all the stuff that they found.
We did that on the way to the permission, man.
It's like, hey, Rob, you doing all right out there? I'm like, yeah, I'm doing good.
You look like you had it under control.
Let us show you what we just found. It's like,
yeah, we're pulling like there's 3 of us out there. We pulled out like 10 kgs and stuff.
Yeah, that was a crazy day for you guys.
It was, man. But the thing is, the reason why we were able to dig the fields we were digging, we had a couple we could have done anyway, but we had access to a couple others because they hadn't seeded. It's a Mennonite dude named Vernon, great guy. But because of all the rain they had, they couldn't seed yet.
Okay.
So we were actually able to hit these fields because of that. Because he said you guys just had so much rain.
Yeah, and it's getting weirder and weirder. Like the guy I talked to today, who was one of my 4 that were trying to get locked in and coordinate. He was like, my big concern is we're not doing like corn anymore. We're just hay, right? Hay and rye
or something.
Grasses, rye grasses, and stuff like that. And he said, my concern is that people are bringing in digging tools that could contaminate my fields, i.e. bringing in weeds.
Right.
And he's like, weeds are my biggest concern because I can't treat them in these fields with the same thing I could treat weeds in a cornfield with. So he's like, I'm overly concerned about that. Plus, unfortunately, he had a bad experience with some people who had visited his farm to metal detect. It's just a small part. It was like a side part of his farm. He said they kind of came in, asked for permission, dug a bunch of holes, and then left.
That's crazy.
Never kind of checked out. Like, there's a, I guess, we have a code of ethics, right?
There's an etiquette to it.
you should say hi and bye, right?
Yeah.
Like, yeah, you
Yep.
know, you don't want to disturb somebody, but you should make an effort to say,
Yeah.
you know, hey, thanks for having us on your property.
The
And
permission we have there, when we're done, we stop back over across the street to say goodbye and all that. But also the thing is, uh, the gentleman that gave us permission, his name is Vernon. This amazing guy. He's curious. So he not just it's just not a matter of etiquette and us going over and saying thank you and all that. Um, but he wants to see what we found. I mean,
yeah.
he has no intention, he doesn't want any of it.
Yeah, and most of them don't. Like,
They
I
don't.
think that's a lot for a lot of detectives. That's the fear. It's like, hey, I found something. This owner's gonna
Yeah.
ask if you can keep it. And look, let's be honest. I've always been a catch and release guy. When I go fishing, I can't remember the last time I kept a fish. But if I showed something to an owner that I wouldn't have otherwise found, and they said, "Man, I would really like to have that," I would give it to them. Like, most times I give the stuff back anyway. I put shadow boxes together and give it to them. I know everybody's perspective is a little bit different. Most owners are like, I wouldn't have known it was there.
Right.
If you didn't dig it up, it would still be there. So you can have it.
Yeah. And some of them once in a while I'll go get it. I get a permission and they'll kind of joke around with me as I'm walking away. Hey, you find any gold bars?
The gold bars, always the gold bars.
it's 70-30. And I just turn around and look and say, hey, 30% of something is better than 30% of nothing.
That's right.
You know what I get? I get if you dig $1 million, I'll split it with you. That's what they always say to me.
Yeah, until you find it, then it's like, no, it's on my property. Dude.
Then you got to show.
I had one woman say she wanted the stuff I dug, and then when I dug it and showed it to her, she's like, "No, you can have that
Yeah,
stuff."
you can have that. Yeah.
See, Tim made a good point. Tim made a good point. I'm the same way. If somebody gave me permission and they wanted to see what I found and they wanted to keep something, when I find it and it's in the hole, I'm gonna do a short video for my TikTok or YouTube, whatever, and I'll take a still picture of it. So at that point, I got what I need. It's not like somebody can say, "Oh, you didn't find that." Yeah, I did. It's on video, dude. So if they want to keep it, whatever. I mean, somewhere in the next week, I'm gonna get back out again somewhere and dig. So it is what it is.
It's a lot easier to store the pictures of what I found than to store what I found. Sooner or later, it's piled up in the garage. Like, and I appreciate, like, I see some people, they have these beautiful displays.
Right.
Like, that's that's not going to fit my world. I love metal detecting. I love finding things. I love sharing what I found. Somebody wants it, I'd be more than happy to give it to them, especially if they're going to appreciate that thing more than I am, as opposed to putting it in a drawer or putting it in a box somewhere.
Yeah, but sometimes though you kind of get that vibe, like from somebody that you find, like, let's just say you found a real, Spanish silver, and they want to keep it. Sometimes you can kind of feel that vibe, like they want it because they don't know how much it's worth.
They think it's worth a bunch of money. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And then they go and they look it up online and go, it's $30.
Yeah. Yeah. That's it. They always think like, oh, it's old, it's got to be worth something. And
that's one of the reasons why I don't do houses. I know a lot of people like doing old homes and houses and stuff like that. I just don't, only for the simple fact that when you're in the middle of a big farm field somewhere, there's nobody out there but you, man.
Right.
When you're in when you're doing a house, they're like turned the curtains like this, looking out the window. Oh, looks like you found something.
Neighbor's dog's barking at you the whole time.
Yeah,
that's my thing. I always forget because I'm like, am I disrupting them while they're in their house?
Well, not just that, but I just funny about it because I don't know if these people have young kids or if they have grandkids. I'm good at filling in my holes, but you can't control everything in the ground and the weather.
Yeah, around house stuff. Yeah,
horrible.
Yeah.
If one of my plugs that I filled in sank down a little bit because we got a lot of rain or something like that, a kid twisted his ankle, I feel horrible.
Yeah, it's tough. One of the things that we mentioned a little bit ago is like, this is the 8th come out swinging, and when we first started these, the intent was that the mill or the society needed a roof. The historical society needed a roof. Right? That was the goal.
Yep.
We raised enough fund to help them, re-roof that building. Then recently, as recent as 3 years ago, I guess, the funds that we were raising were going to help the society save an historic property, right? So
Yep.
our efforts through Come Out Swinging helped the society actually purchase what's called Bears Mill. It's BAHRS. We had an open house there.
Now, is that where the meet and greet on Friday night is going to be again?
Most likely that will be where the meet and greet on Friday night is. Yeah.
That's been that way the last 2 or 3, I believe.
The last 2 or 3, yeah. And I'm trying, one of the things I love about this group of people that comes is we get good feedback. It's constructive feedback.
Yep.
Like, hey, the meet and greet was good, but it could have been better if, and we take all that information, right? So my goal will be, if it's not, like, it's great. We want to showcase the mill because the efforts went directly towards saving that property, which
Well, that's the genesis of it all, really.
right. Yeah. So I mean, but it's nice. But the problem is, if it's not conducive to doing the meet and greet there, does it make sense, right? Like maybe we just ask people to visit if they're going to. But there's really if people were saying like, hey, if you had some food there, it would have been great.
Right.
There's really nowhere to serve food from or to sit down and eat, right? So we're thinking about a couple of different things, and we'll see what happens.
I remember the pitch you made to the Historical Society to do the first Come Out Swinging.
I thought I was nuts.
Yeah, I remember. To try to raise money for, to put the new roof, and it's funny. You think about things like that, and you went from a wing and a prayer to look what it's become now.
Yeah. And what was the thing, the original group was an older, group, not older like old people, like just had been on that board for a long time, and they just didn't see the vision of the thing. But there was somebody in the audience who was on the board, but not an executive on the board. And then when some of the transition started happening, she became an executive, and she came back to me and said, hey, I'd like to hear more about that plan that you had. And that's Rachel Kaler. She's the president right now of the Historical Society. And
Right.
I kind of went back in and remade the pitch and the presentation, and they were all like, okay, what's this
older
gonna cost?
older board? They were probably just kind of set in their ways,
Yeah, that happens, right? Like you get comfortable with what you're doing, and you don't really need to, but yeah, we're in a situation I thought I could lend a hand. And their biggest thing was they were willing to take a gamble on the concept, but they didn't have the resources.
Right.
And I said, I don't need anything.
Yeah.
Like
Just give me the go ahead.
we'll pay for it with what we do. We just need people to believe in the fact that we're going to raise money. And, I kind of put it out there a little bit like, hey, if it doesn't, I'll, it's on me. Right.
So let me ask you something, Robert. What do they think? What do they think about it now?
They're sad that we don't do 2 a year.
Yeah.
like we used
Sure.
to.
Sure.
But they are always on board with everything that I kind of come as the chair of the quote unquote Come Out Swinging committee. They're always on board with what we're proposing and the ideas that we come up with, and they're always you come to the events. Anyone who comes to the events, see there's an overwhelming amount of support from our executive level board members and our regular board members. They're either there, on Friday helping set up the tent, or they're there Saturday morning making sure the coffee and the donuts. I see your sign in the background. Make sure the donuts are ready.
That
somebody's
is
there.
personally signed by the Sultan himself.
So yeah, I mean, we've got a lot of support from the society, and that's important to us, and that continues. But yeah, now it's, I was thinking about wanting to have the event at the society, the open house or meet and greet, because we're actually redoing the society in its entirety. We've gutted the museum. So right now the museum is gutted. It's new floors, new ceilings. It's going to be all new display cases. Like that's kind of, the evolution of where we're going with the support that Come Out Swinging. And the goal is, I've always said this, the club has always had this option, but kind of now where we are, the goal is that we will have our own curated display in the museum that will be like constantly changing based on either the club hunts or club member finds or what we do at Come Out Swinging. And we ask people like, hey, if you find something, put it on loan to the museum, right? We'll archive it and then we'll put it on display. And then if you want it back, we'll give it back to you, right? We want to share with the community.
Like when you go to England, and you hunt in England at these events, there are certain things you find you're never going to get back. And there are certain things you find where they got to, do their due diligence and catalog and all that. And, it might be months before you get it, but they will send it back to you eventually. Yeah. As long as it's not something they feel that, should stay there. But it also goes to show you, man, one person, all you needed was one person to stick up and stand up and believe in what you were trying to do. And it's amazing how people kind of jump on board, whether they see the same thing or not. But think about it now. Think of all the good that it's done from the monies raised for, and I do say money is raised because Come Out Swinging, just like Dig-a-Dude, is a fundraiser.
It is a fundraiser.
There's no profit. There's nothing. Everything goes to somewhere.
Yeah, nobody gets anything, but something does, right? And it's the 501c3, right? That's the Historical Society.
Yep.
100%. Like if anyone ever said like, hey, can you show me? Like, yeah, I don't have a problem with that. Like, if you need us to be more transparent, we can be more transparent, but I can show you what came in and what went out. Yeah. That's not a problem. I mean, we have to answer to a board. I have to put in a budget, yep. Right? And I have to say, hey, this is what my expectations are for the number of attendees at this price. So we're going to raise this much money, and then we're going to spend this much money, to run the event. And that has to be approved and signed off and voted on by the board. And then it gets analyzed after the event to say, hey, and I don't control the money, right? The money goes through the society's PayPal system. So everything's kind of tracked by them and they do all the checks and balances. But yeah, it's been good for the society. We don't pay anybody, right? Everybody is a volunteer. I'm a volunteer. I don't get paid for my time. I have a full-time job, doing my financial advising business.
Speaking of volunteers, is Nate? Are we gonna get a Come Out Swinging where Nathan Babb is healthy?
I think that's just Nathan's excuse for taking a day off.
Is that what it is?
Sometimes I think he just needs a day off. Like so, Nathan wears a lot of hats, right? So in a previous life, he was an EMT. He was a fire jumper, but he worked for Devil's Hump in Pennsylvania. He's a firefighter, like a woodland firefighter. He's also he worked for a mechanical company doing, construction and, mechanical installations for that construction company. So he,
right.
When he doesn't sit around too much. He's a hardworking dude.
Plus, you know what? Plus, it's also his family is out there Come Out Swinging helping too.
Yeah. Both of his daughters have come and volunteered. Riley's a regular at the events. She does a great job. Manning.
There's a young man that's always there. He's in charge of the coffee. I can't remember his name. Somebody's kid.
Gabe?
It might be.
Is it Rachel's son, Gabe? Yeah,
it might be. Yeah.
No, he's in charge of the donuts. That's what he's in
charge of. The donuts? God bless him.
Always got his eye on the donuts.
Bless him. He should get a raise. A raise.
Yeah. Oh, so I didn't post it yet, but we got our first, right? So we're always looking for sponsors, any kind of sponsor. So we have our first official sponsor, traditionally, up until 2 events ago, I guess, we were working with Moondoggy Coffee, right? So Bob and Donna Funk were sponsoring us. But one of our club members actually started their own coffee roasting business, Corey Mason. So he has Rad Rooster Coffee. So for the last
wait. Is that Dig-a-Dad?
Yes, Dig-a-Dad.
Dig-a-Dad.
Dig-a-Dad. And then with his metal detecting and ghost hunting adventure. So if you're looking for somebody who metal detects and ghost hunts, Corey's your guy. but he's also a coffee roaster. So, Rad Rooster Coffee out of Boyertown is our official, come out swinging coffee sponsor.
That's cool. That's really
Yeah.
cool.
I mean, look, things you need to know about the event. It's very family friendly. We spoke a little bit about this earlier. There's not a lot of shenanigans that go on. People bring their kids. I mean, I've watched some kids grow up. It's been 5 years now since our first event.
We watched Squeak grow up.
Squeak, Lydia.
Lydia.
Trying to think some of the other ones that have come and gone. Names I'm sure I'm forgetting.
Yeah, me too. Squeak and Lydia just stick out because they're when they're at the event, they're like thick as thieves.
Yes, they are. Yes, they are. Lydia just had a birthday, so if you know Lydia online, you haven't wished her a happy birthday, wish her a happy birthday.
And her dad always comes. Her dad is always there at the events.
Her dad's awesome. He's always at the events. He's a club member, right? So the Boyertown Relic Recovery Club is a club. It's part of the Historical Society. We operate under their 501c3, and we host club events. Just trying to think, as I said, the natural hunt is a natural hunt. We can't guarantee anything. We don't promise anything. All we do is secure the property, right? So it's, hey, this is a 1700s farm or an 1800s farm, right? Our goal is to go back as far as we can. But ideally we have to marry some things together, right? We have to have a farm. And if we're saying we're capping registration at 100, I like to have between 75 and 100 acres.
Right.
Of detectable land, right? I'd like everyone to say like, hey, I've got at least 3/4 of an acre to myself, right? That's the idea. So, everybody can be in their own sandbox if they want. We have to park. Like you got 100 people showing up. A lot of them come by themselves, right? So there's generally almost 90 cars that are there. So I need to figure out where can I park 90 cars. We have to set up a tent. We have to have electricity. Do I bring a generator or does the farmer, have somewhere I can plug in? We have to have bathrooms, it's
People don't understand. People don't realize what the things that go up and go on. As much as I love putting on Dig It Dude and all that stuff, it's like your mind is like frazzled. It gets to a point where you're frazzled because you got all these things going on. You have to think about all the what ifs. Try to prepare the best you can for all the what ifs. The weather, because we've been fortunate at Come Out Swinging. We've had pretty good weather. We just get rain on Saturdays for the mornings for some reason. I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is.
It's a tradition.
It's funny because I remember, was it 2 years ago? 2 years ago, it was Saturday. I forget exactly where it was, but if you remember that one farm where you had the tents and then there was a field, and then if you look straight that way, there was this big, huge hill. If you remember that one?
Yes.
Well, it poured half the morning. And it turns out that I'm sitting there in that field. Me and Audrey are walking around. We're soaked. It was soaked. And then my wife calls me up and goes, something's wrong here. I'm like, what? It's the rain's coming down sideways. It's really windy and it doesn't look right. And I just looked at my phone real quick and I went, oh
no.
Get in the basement. We had a tornado.
Wow.
Yeah. So it's like, and then funny thing is, a year later, which is this past one, we get there early Friday morning. We go to Vernon's to go dig. Me, John, and Brian. We park, and all of a sudden, I'm like, wow, I feel weird, man. Why do I feel so weird? Like I feel like things were moving around me. I was like, maybe I'm getting dizzy. I didn't eat. I don't know. 20 minutes later, I'm in the middle of the field. My wife calls me up. Are you okay? Yeah, I answered the phone. Why? You guys just had a 4.7 earthquake.
Yes.
I'm like, see, every time I come out to swinging, there's a freaking natural disaster.
Yeah. Well, and as the event organizer, that's the stuff that keeps me up the month before. You can't plan for everything, but you try to. What ifs? Like, what if this happens? What do we do?
Yeah.
Now we have. Now we have EMTs. we make them aware that we're hosting the event. Sometimes they're not on site, but in the area, if they're not on call. So yeah, I mean, the things that we make sure we're kind of check all the boxes, like
Yep. So
make
we
it
have
the best possible experience.
we have a little bit of a special surprise. You guys that are here tonight are going to be privy to this. You are going to be the very first.
So before you blow it up on the screen, traditionally the Come Out Swinging logo, right, gets revealed, and then we launch our shirts. But
Yep.
my designer is about 90% done. So I asked Bobby if he wanted to kind of preview it, and we've transitioned a little bit away from what we normally do, which is we had a character in the logo. So in the original one, if you remember, it was a guy with a shiner.
Yep.
Because the event's called Come Out Swinging. And that evolved into a guy into a flannel shirt, and then we had we had a girl with bunny ears in a full metal detecting rig, and a chicken. So we've had a bunch of different things, but I think this is a little more brand appropriate for us, and
I like it.
with some merch.
I like it. Ready? Here we
Ready.
go. Can you see it?
There it is.
Boom.
So it's got a little bit of Latin on it.
Yep.
All my
So
Ghostbusters.
we get to see.
Hold on.
Yeah, we lost it. Yes.
Hold on.
All the original Ghostbuster fans should be able to figure out what Benny Beatty Detexty means.
Oh, there you go. Hey, look at you getting all Latin and everything.
Yeah.
Hold on. Present.
Anybody put it in the chat yet? Anybody answer? Benny Beatty Detexty?
There we go.
I don't see anything.
You can't see anything?
No, we can see it now. We're good.
In the chat, I mean.
So that's a direct borrow from the old Pennsylvania Railroad.
Yeah.
So that used to be a P. We turned it into a B for Boyertown Relic Recovery Club. So there's some slight modifications we're still going to make. I love that kind of Art Deco font at the bottom.
That's really cool, dude.
Yeah.
That is cool.
It's the shape of the keystone for Pennsylvania, right?
That's right. Yep. Keystone State.
So are the T-shirts going to have this logo?
Yeah, the T-shirts will have this logo on them.
There you go.
Yeah.
That's
And I say we listen. That was one thing that took me a little longer to hear. There was some feedback about the logos we were using and some of the characters, and people were like, I just don't really know if I want a character like on my shirt, like a logo. I think this generic logo would be more appropriate. And I think this does justice to what the request was.
Love the logo, man. Love the logo. That's awesome, man. The colors too, man. Nice.
Yeah. Aside from blue and orange, that crimson and gold is one of my favorite color schemes.
Yeah, that's really cool.
Like that old STP logo, that blue and orange. That's my favorite.
That's awesome.
You dating yourself now.
Yeah, I know, right?
But yeah, man, like what you were saying before about you can't guarantee, especially with a natural hunt. I mean, that should almost be common sense because, as diggers, for those of us who actually like do the research and research places, and you can do everything right, and it sometimes it just doesn't pan out. It doesn't work.
Pan out. But here's the thing. I think if we get 100 acres, we get 75 to 100 acres, we get a farm that's got any kind of history to it, and we invite 100 of our friends to it. We've never had a Come Out Swinging where somebody hasn't found
Exactly
something of
something.
really real significance, right? I mean, obviously everybody talked about the GW button, right? That's probably one of the most or more recent, very relevant and historical things. But
yeah,
back to even like our first event, And Joe Setti around. Is Joe in the chat?
Joe was here. I don't know if he's
Joe was
still
here.
here.
So there's a couple of guys. I think Joe was one of them. Eric Lamort may have been one of them. But I was like yelling at these guys, driving down the street, screaming at them because they were in the neighbor's backyard, and it was marked out of bounds. And I'm like, get out of the yard! I'm like just like yelling at these guys, yelling. And then I like whip my car around and I pull in and I get out like freaking Dukes of Hazzard, like sliding across the hood to go, show everybody a new one. And the owner's like, no, it's cool, man. We invited them all in. And the stuff that they found in that guy's backyard was like, I think a 4 Real was found.
Holy
It
shit!
was like, very area specific relics, like from the old telephone company, like a little bell from the old telephone company that still worked. Somebody found a trapper's tag from the guy who built the house, and the
Right.
people who
Nice.
owned it had a picture of that guy building the house.
Who
on
dug
the
the
mantle.
GW, bud? I don't remember who dug the GW. Do you remember that?
That was Alan, wasn't it?
Was it Alan? You sure that wasn't John?
No, it wasn't John. Yeah, see, so many people take so much stuff, right? So it's fun, but yeah, no, and I always jokingly say I appreciate everybody coming and digging all the trash so I can go back and find the treasure. But truth be told, there's only ever been one site that I've gone back to after I come out swinging, and that was the first one.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, I've never had an opportunity to go back and visit a farm, and because you guys do such a good job, I don't expect that there's going to be anything left.
Yeah, they definitely they're not leaving any stone unturned. That's for sure.
Yeah, I mean, the other question we get all the time is, has it ever been hunted? And I can't tell you that. Like, I know I've never hunted it. I know my Relic Recovery Club has never hunted it. If I ask the owner, has it ever been hunted, and they tell me no, that's the best I can do. Because if they haven't owned the property and they haven't been alive for 250 years, they can't answer that question. Because Grandpappy didn't tell them that it was hunted.
I found almost every property has been hunted somewhere, even if it's just for a little bit. Almost every farmer has a nephew or a cousin or something that bought a metal detector at some point.
Yes. Yeah. The guy down the street from me, I knocked on his door and I said, hey, can I detect around your property? I can give you a demonstration of how I do it and show you the technology and demonstrate how I dig a plug. He's like, it's already been detected. I was like, when? And he goes, we did it years ago. And he's like, I'll show you our detector. And he goes in and he brings out a detector. It was a Coinmaster, right? It was great, nice machine, but obviously not modern technology. But he was like, I just don't want you wasting your time. You'll be wasting your time. We already dug all the targets. I'm like, okay. What do we do? Argue with him in his driveway?
At the same time, though, you don't want to come off like a smart ass going, well, I didn't do it.
Right. Well, yeah. I'm a professional, man. I got over 10,000 hours.
There you go.
Sometimes it's just not going to let you detect no matter what you say. So you're better off just saying, all right, move on to the next one.
Yeah. It's good.
All right. Well, as always, it's always awesome to have you here. And for those of you who have already done it, great. For those of you who have not, head on over to Facebook. Go to the Come Out Swinging Facebook page. If you are already a member of the page, the QR code and the link are there for you to purchase tickets. If you are not and you're interested, just go in, answer the 2 questions that Robert has to gain access to the page. As long as you answer those questions, he will gladly accept. And just kind of check it out. He's already posted kind of like an itinerary, more or less. And if it's something that you think you might be interested in, I can tell you this from experience, being so many of these Come Out Swinging events. No matter what you find or don't find, you are not going to leave disappointed. You're going to be surrounded by amazing people. It's always well organized. Even when stuff happens, there's always a a plan B and a plan C, and it's just well run, and who knows? You might wind up finding something that you don't get the opportunity to dig an area like that, depending on where you're from. But more than anything, though, the people are just amazing. Um, I've met so many awesome people at this event, this particular event, and I've been to big events where there were 600 people, like Dig Stocks, stuff like that. It's just a perfect opportunity, and the word it always comes to me the most is intimate. It's intimate. It's not too big, it's not too small. It's more than enough time to kind of make your way around, introduce yourself, meet everybody that's there, and spend some time. And you know what? Um, you can make lifelong friends and relationships just going to those events, regardless of what you find or don't find. Um, I can speak for myself that I've made some amazing friends just from come out swinging alone. People that were new, people that weren't new, but it's like you're on Facebook and YouTube and your TikTok, and you know people by names, and you know people by their handles and this and that. But it's different when you're there and you can put names to faces and faces to names, and see what all these people are about. And the next thing you know, you're leaving, come out swinging, wondering when the next one is because you had such an amazing.
Yeah, that's the vibe we're going for, right? I'll
And
leave
they
a
have
couple.
donuts.
And they have donuts. We have a lot of donuts. I'll leave you with a couple things. One,
You
if
got
you're
it.
coming to the event and you're thinking about, hey, maybe to buy some new technology, whether it's a detector or a pinpointer or headphones, or you're looking for a shovel or a pouch, we do have vendors on site, right? They can help you equip. I think this year, I've talked to Drew, who's been our primary vendor. We're talking about adding another vendor with a different line of equipment and some other things that Drew doesn't traditionally offer. So we're going to kind of expand that. Eric reached out to me about being on site with Ultimate Finds and his line of products. And then, obviously the shirts and the stickers, right? So the shirt will go live soon once the logo is finished. We will have stickers. We do a sticker swap. So if anybody wants to bring stickers, we give stickers out. We ask you to share your stickers, and
That's one of the things we stole from Robert was his sticker / shoe rack thing.
and I stole that from Amanda.
Did you? Oh, Digger the guys?
Digger the guys came up with that idea. She's like, use a vinyl shoe rack from the back of a door and just hang it on the tent.
That's so Amanda.
Yeah,
It is. That's so Amanda.
Give credit where credit is due. I like to think of myself as a thinker outside of the box, but if somebody's going to help me and come up with a great idea like that, I'm going to use it all day long. But yeah, we definitely appreciate the continued support. I know some people have been with us since the first event. Like I said, every time we host a new event, new people are registering. Always great to see new faces. I will tell you, look, Saturday and Sunday, I'm like a chicken with my head cut off. If you want to catch some time with me, middle of the day on Saturday around lunch is usually when you'll find me sitting because I got a hoagie shoved in my face. And later in the day on Sunday is when I can start to kind of relax. I know everything's running itself at that point.
I just let Nathan handle it all.
Let Nathan handle it. Yeah. So if you come up to me and you say hi and it's just a hi, it's great. I'll give you a hi. I'll give you a hug. I'll take a picture, whatever you want to do. If you want to have a conversation, understand there's a lot of pokers in the fire. I got to keep the fire stoked, and I'm moving around a lot. I kind of run the show from Friday morning to Sunday afternoon with the help of the volunteers. Don't get me wrong; they're there providing support.
When are you going to get Lizzie to come and help you?
Yeah, I don't know that that's going to happen.
I got a daughter myself, dude. They're occupied. Their minds are somewhere else.
She tolerates me.
Yeah.
Up until recently, I could say to her, hey, let's go exploring. She would, you jump in a creek with me and go look for stuff. But
She's gonna get
now
to
I'm
the
teaching her how to
point.
drive. So
Now it's gonna to the point where you're gonna say, "You want to go exploring?" And she's like, "Oh, we want to go to the mall."
no, she's good. She's always open for having an adventure. Her and I are learning to surf in the summer, and
There you go.
we'll do all that kind of fun stuff. So
There you go. All right. Well, Robert, as always, appreciate you. I'm going to be there. I'm going to sponsor. I'm going to donate, and we do encourage anybody that wants to donate anything, uh, no matter how small you may think it is. Um, Nothing is turned down. So you can just, if you're in the Come Out Swinging Facebook page, just contact Robert. Um, whether it's a Merc or it doesn't matter what it is. If you want to donate something, please reach out. Um, reach out and touch faith.
it's a good song.
I lost.
Yeah, we get a lot of those like smaller donations.
Mhm.
We put them together. We make prize packages out of those things. We get gift cards, for
Yep.
random places, gift cards that can be used for online shopping or local stores or.
There's raffles for cookies. Um,
Well, Dave and Sharon bring all the Pepperidge Farm
Oh, the
stuff,
Pepperidge
which is
Farm,
always a
oh,
big
yeah.
hit.
That's Dave, Mr. and Mrs. Dave Hart. Yeah, they bring cases. I went home one time. He's like, "Dude, just take his."
Yeah.
And I went home
Take
with
the
a
fish, man.
case
Take the fish.
of Pepperidge Farms. I'm like, dude, what am I going to do with all this, man?
Yeah.
Am I gonna take it in the
I mean,
work?
what other metal detecting event do you go to where not only do you have donuts, you have Milanos for
Yeah,
breakfast? right?
that's the thing. Yeah. One thing I did want to bring up and ask you. I know that's probably not out yet, but it will be at some point. There will be, if it's not out yet, an opportunity for you to order food.
Yes.
Um,
Yeah, we pre-order food for Saturday and Sunday.
Yep. So that'll be coming. It's a little early yet, but that will be coming as well. It's usually what subs and stuff like that.
Yeah, it's usually sandwiches, right?
Yeah. Yep.
From a local sandwich shop, right? We like
Yep.
to make sure we're supporting people in the community. We've
Yep.
tried the food truck thing, and it's hit or miss because when people go out detecting, they're out detecting. They don't want to say like, hey, the food truck's here, and then they got to come back and get food. Like you
Yep.
can come back at 12 o'clock and throw the hoagie in your backpack and be out in the field still detecting and sit down for 5 minutes and eat half of it and then just go back away, right? We found that that's kind of the preferred methodology.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. So once again, last time, come out swinging. Go to the Facebook page. If you're already there, the link and the QR code is there. If you're not, answer the 2 questions. Robert will accept you, and we can't wait. Oh, Creek Geek just showed up.
Uh-oh.
Oh, Brian's here. Better late than never.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
But,
it's almost over though.
I know. But go there, check it out. You will not be sorry. Trust me. I have been to so many of these come out swing-ins, and like I said, I've been to bigger events like Dig Stock where there were 600 people. I don't go back. I've not been back. You know why I don't go back? Because I have just a certain way and certain, you know, 600 people you can't get to in a weekend. 100 people you can get to everybody and say hello and swap stickers and swap stories and go hunt with this person and that person and that group.
Yeah, the point you make, I look at a guy, well, obviously you've been doing it for a long time, but I look at a guy like Kenny Carlstrom who comes to the event,
Free Bridge.
and I see Kenny's page, and every time I go on Kenny's page, he's got another person from Come Out Swinging that he's detecting with.
Yep.
So he's made these connections, and then 2, 3, 4, 6, 9 months later, he's posting videos of these people who he met at Come Out Swinging, and now they're detecting together. And I think that's great about the event.
I met Kenny last year at last Come Out Swinging when me, John, and Brian went to our permission that Friday morning. We reached out and asked Kenny if he wanted to come. And that was the first time I actually met Kenny. And Kenny came and got himself a couple kgs too. So he's a good dude. He's a good dude, man.
Kenny and people like you and John and Pierce, like you guys are kind of the picture of the there's a lot of people that come, right? And they're all good people. I think I've said this at least 3 times tonight. It's just a tight community, and they accept new people in,
Yep.
right? And share their spots and share their, how their machines are set up. And
We're here.
hey, we were over here yesterday and we were having luck. Let's go back over there. Come with us. Like
Kenny's sister lives 10 minutes from me, and when he comes down to visit her, he texts me, if he can get out while he's down here. And one of these times when he comes down, I'm going to take him to some of my spots here in Jersey. But, he comes down and helps her with, I think she owns property here.
okay.
Kind of like, rental properties on top of her own property. So he comes and helps her out. Dude, when you come down, just shoot me a text, bro. Shoot me a text. I'll take you to one of my spots. And, and anybody that hunts with me, Brucey will tell you, John, Brian, any of them. I don't care if I take you there. If you're a friend of mine and I take you there and you want to go back to it, and I just for some reason can't go there, I don't care. Go, man, go.
Yeah, but I've seen some of those videos. You take those people, and you're as happy for them finding stuff at your spot as you are when you find stuff.
Oh, 2 things. 2 people in this chat right now. Bruce is in here. I was with Bruce when he found his first copper. I was with Bruce when he found his first real. 2 of the greatest moments I've ever had. And forget anything that I found. Nothing I found made me emotional. Did it hype me up? Yeah, but not like emotional. Those 2 things made me emotional. And then last year, that Come Out Swinging that Friday morning, I watched John get his very first KG. I got to be there for that. That was emotional. You remember this at Come Out Swinging. I watched Nancy get her first real.
First real, yeah. Hold real, yeah. At the cattle farm, yeah.
Mr. GW right next to her. So these things for me are, you can't beat that. But you know what? I'm in a state that's all Revolutionary War. I'm gonna have my time out here. I'm gonna find my stuff. But most of the time, I'm by myself. To have the opportunity to be out with some of these people and see them get firsts, I don't even think I have a word to explain it.
No, it's an amazing experience, and to be able to share that with somebody and to take them to that spot where that happens is awesome. And I get to do that. It used to be twice a year. Now I'm once a year. I get to invite 100 friends and say, let's go find some stuff.
Yeah. You know what though? We got to one of these though. We got to tell Nathan. All right, it's time for you to step up, take charge for about an hour and a half. We're gonna take Robert and his knocks and take him out and get him out here hunting with us for a little while. You got to do it, man.
Yeah, there's a time and a place. I on the weekend I have some responsibilities.
That's why you got people, man. Delegate the authority.
Yeah, that's why I'm not in management. I don't delegate well.
Damn, man. All right, dudes. I thank you all for coming.
Thank you for having me. It's been awesome. And I look forward to seeing as many or all of you who are joining us tonight.
Absolutely.
On April 5th and 6th.
There's a good chunk in here, dude. A big chunk in here that are going.
That's awesome.
I'd say
we really appreciate it.
90 to 95% of the people in here.
That's great.
Hell yeah. But we appreciate y'all coming and giving us the time. And like I said, Come Out Swinging Facebook page. Go there. It tells you everything you need to know. And there will be updates between now and April. So keep an eye out for them. Things are always subject to change. Nothing major, I'm sure. But that's the way things go sometimes. So keep an eye out and go get your ticket, man.
Yeah, get your ticket. Oh, and if you're looking for a football pool, we're marrying the 2 together. If you buy a Come Out Swinging ticket and you buy a block for the football pool, you get entered into a special raffle for Come Out Swinging. I'm thinking maybe something big and shiny is going to be the prize.
Yeah.
So
don't get too excited. Brian will probably win it, but
Yeah.
so
thanks, guys.
we'll give you a glimmer of hope. Y'all have a great night. We appreciate y'all.
And
And
thank you for all your support, Bobby. You've been awesome to us.
always, bro. It'll always be that way. We'll see you guys next week, and we'll see you guys in April. Later, dudes.